I've always been like that.
Yeah.
Even since I was little, when I didn't like someone, I'd be like, ojalá que ya lo recoja Dios.
Hello, everyone. I am your host, Alannized, and welcome to another episode of Noche de Pendejadas. I am super excited for today's guest. Please help me welcome La Comadre Jesus Acevedo.
Hola.
Hello. ¿Cómo estás?
Pues muy bien aquí, débil, pero ya ni
Débil,
modo.
pero estás. You guys, para todos ustedes que no conocen a La Comadre, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over so he can tell us a little bit about who he is and what he does.
Bueno, pues tengo 22 años and hago TikToks y nomás hago de lo que se me viene a la mente, lo que estoy haciendo ese día, babosadas. Usually cuando voy a México es cuando subo súper, like, todo lo que hago, like, puedo estar echando unos pedos y ahí me los ando haciendo record, pero ya, nomás hago videos.
We met not too long ago. ¿Cuándo nos conocimos? ¿Cuándo fue? ¿No te acuerdas?
I want to say either
I feel like last year. Like Halloween time.
por ahí. Poquito antes a lo mejor, pero no me acuerdo the exact, like, event.
Maybe Leo's birthday last year. Did you go?
Yes, I did see you there.
I think it was there because yo pienso que ahí conocía mucha gente en esa fiesta. Y luego ya después de eso, you guys, it's so crazy that it's been already a whole year. Y en este año, you guys, Jesus has really blown up on social media that it's so crazy to see todo lo que has cumplido, todos los sueños que has logrado. And today, you guys, me lo traje para sentármelo aquí en mi salita y platicar de todo eso. But today, I want to get to know you a little bit more. Yo sé que si quiero saber algo de ti que ya está out, I can just go on your social medias. But today, I want to get to know you.
Okay.
So vamos a empezar con lo primero, amigas. How were you as a kid? How was Jesus as a child? How was it like growing up? Was it easy? Was it hard? Quiero que me cuentes todo.
Pero si miran que me estoy dando el ojo es porque tengo el ojo que me brinca. No piensen que estoy llorando todavía. No, pero cuando estaba chiquito, my parents had me ya cuando estaban muy viejitos. They should not have been doing what they were doing a esa edad, because my mom had me ya cuando tenía como 40 y algo. So, and mi otro sibling que está más cerquita a mí, he's 10 years older than me. Ya estaban viejitos. They should not have been doing that. Pero nací yo, so I always tell them que yo nací del pecado. Pero I think I was just very, no sé, si como dicen los niños chiquitos, los más chiquitos de la familia son los más tremendos, I think que salí el más carajito porque me pegaban, pero no tanto como a mis hermanos. So, esta boca, it runs, trust and believe. For the most part, yo digo que tenía una childhood que era como happy, pues yo ni sabía nada. Like, I actually would just live.
Clueless.
I would actually just live. Like, I remember one time, perdimos la casa. We were technically homeless. And, like, I knew that, pero como que no me entraba a la cabeza, like, the situation. So, like, I was just, like, playing games. And I remember, the one thing I remember is que mami dijo, ay, chuchi, a ti que ta pura verdad. And I was like,
You're like,
because I just didn't, like, comprehend lo que estaba, lo que estaba pasando. But now that I look back, I was like, I'm kind of real for that porque, like, I was still living my best life, aunque no sabemos qué íbamos a hacer, you know? Yeah, pero...
how old were you when that happened?
I think, like, I was grown.
Yesterday.
I was, like, grown. Like, ni voy a decir que no. I think I was, like, 13.
He could have all helped and shit.
Okay, that's one thing. I'm really maduro. Like, if you ask me, yes, I still have toys in my room. Minecraft, todo lo que tú pienses, I got it. Todo. I'm like, for the most part, I think I had a good childhood. I did feel a little bit como left behind sometimes con las cosas porque, like, obviously, if you guys assume, like, si perdimos la casa, no teníamos mucho dinero. De todos modos, ahorita mi familia no tiene mucho dinero. I feel like mucha gente growing up, like, in school, like, oh, like, they would talk about, like, oh, did you watch, like, Austin and Ally or, like, even, like, SpongeBob or, like, other stuff. Baby, it was Martha Speaks, Cyber Chase, Word Girl, En Mi Casa, Dora la Exploradora, all that, and, like, all the Spanish channels. So, like, I really wouldn't know what they would be talking about. So when they would tell me, I'd be like, yeah, that's crazy, huh? Y yo sin saber nada, like, I would just act. I would lie because I'm like, I'm not going to try to feel left out. So I was like, if I act like it, nadie va a saber. And
they never knew.
Ellos también estaban pendejos entonces porque
el pendejo los hizo pendejos, ¿eh? How were you in school? Were you, the popular kid? Were you kind of off to yourself? ¿Cómo fuiste tú en la escuela?
Emo. Just kidding, no. I want to say, I feel like I was known porque I try to be nice. No voy a decir que no soy una perra sometimes y como que quiero morder, pero I was nice for the most part. I would talk to a lot of people. Usually era like if I was in a class, si había a quiet person, me sentaban con ellos because they know that I would try to get them to talk. And I feel like I'd be annoying, but I would be that person that I'd sit with them and I'd be like, how was your day today? Y si no me dice nada, I'd be like, that's crazy. Mine was like that too. Like, nomás decía cosas para hacer que se...
Yeah.
Like, decía cualquier babosada to try to get them to open up. And it would work. Porque, trust me, soy como mi papá, stubborn as fuck. So, I wasn't going to let that stop me. Even in high school, I got nominated everyone's friend porque I would try to talk to everyone.
Oh, that's good. So you were always, a social butterfly, como se dice. So you graduate high school. Before social media, did you have like a job?
No.
¿Or qué hacías?
Me hacía pendejo. Luckily, even though que no tenemos mucho dinero, all my siblings worked. So like, my parents told me que I didn't have to porque like they were like fine enough en el punto que no necesitaban que like yo me estresara más con la escuela y luego con un trabajo. So they're like, tú nomás enfócate en tus estudios y nosotros hacemos lo demás.
And you're like, say less. You're
I was like, okay.
One thing about me is I'm gonna listen to my parents.
Cuando le conviene. I'm like, I'm really obediente sometimes. So.
You get through high school and you go to college. How is that? Ahorita todavía estás in college. I just found out recently, you guys, because if you guys have not seen Danny and Irma's podcast, he was actually a guest of theirs not too long ago. When he came over that time, I found out that he was actually local. Porque yo te hacía en otro pinche país, amigo. Tampoco. Yo te hacía en otro
México,
lugar. Yo te hacía like in the Bay Area, which you are from the Bay, right?
Central Valley.
Oh, okay, Central Valley. So yo lo hacía lejitos de aquí, you guys. Y cuando vino, we were like asking him, like, oh, he probably did. Nosotros, Danny and Irma, pensando que he did the trip off for them. But he's like, oh, no, aquí vivo cercas. And I was shook. You live so close. How was that like? And you're still going to college.
Yeah. It was definitely different porque obviously Central Valley, like, hay muchos like little farming towns. And no para decir que no hay bigger towns like Fresno or cities, como se dice. Pero where I live era una population de como 27,000.
Oh, shit.
Entonces estaba pequeño. So coming out here was different, especially like nomás like seeing so many people and like todo estar like tan cerquitas.
Yeah.
But it was definitely cool and I really liked it, especially porque ya sabes cómo son los papás hispanos. No podía hacer, even though like I was grown, no me dejaban hacer mucho. Like, I didn't really even start going to, like, high school parties hasta que tenía como, literally my senior year, like, the end of the, like, ya casi los últimos meses. So it was really nice, like, acá, like, nomás le echaba mentiras a mi mamá. Porque I still call her every morning and night, but I just lie. I'm like, okay, mami, vamos a dormir. Me, like, doing my makeup to get ready. Me, like, me putting on, like, the trashiest outfit I have to go, like, have fun. Pero, yeah, me ha gustado mucho.
You have grown so much on social media. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Is it checking up on your credit score? Didn't think so. At Chime, that's exactly what they do. With your secure Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start to build credit with your own money. Chime reports your payments to credit bureaus to help you build credit over time. Their members see an increase of 30 points on average. All this with no annual fees, large security deposits, or no credit checks to apply. I love Chime because a lot of my friends have trouble with their credit score, and I've been able to help them boost up their credit score using Chime. So what are you waiting for? Start your credit journey with Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score at all. Get started at chime.com/Allen with a double N. That's chime.com/ALANN. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank NA pursuant to a license from Visa USA Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for a secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some users' scores may not improve. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply except at MoneyPass ATMs in a 7-Eleven or any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. You've been on social media for how long? I want to say like 2 years, 3 years?
Desde que empezó COVID.
Okay, so yeah, 2020, you guys. You've been on, your come up for 2 years already. And I want to say, lo que fue last year, you blew up. You blew up, pero obviamente it wasn't always that. ¿Cómo empezaste tú on social media? How was your start? How did one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? I see everyone on social media. I see people doing TikToks. Yo también lo puedo hacer and I can become someone big doing it?
Pues I never actually like attempted to do it before porque every time that I would see like someone on social media, like nunca like pensé que yo lo podía hacer because I'm like, oh, like they're already on YouTube, and I feel like on YouTube you had to start like way before para agarrar, or like already have a bigger following to like be able to do it. And Instagram you just had to be like a really pretty model, and I was like, no, estoy chula, pero no sé tanto de eso, ¿verdad? So cuando nomás empecé a subir videos a TikTok, como nomás no tenía nada que hacer because like school, like ellos no sabían lo que estaban haciendo like the primer semestre de que COVID pegó. So I was like, voy a subir like videos, like it'll be funny. And then uno de mis videos se hizo pretty much viral. Era uno de que, de Teresa Sanders, it's like, odio ser pobre, lo odio. And after that, I was like, voy a seguir subiendo videos que son como de cosas que I relate to, like growing up, like Hispanic cosas que me han pasado. And those videos did really well. So I was like, people like this side of me. Like, and it's the side that I live at home. Like, I feel like at school I was always like more English, but at home I was like only speaking Spanish. So I was like, people like my home style, like I live it. So I'm like, let me talk about it. And then de ahí empezó.
¿Sabes una cosa? If you guys ever, stumble across his videos, or if you guys love him and watch his videos, una cosa que a mí me llama la atención is how relatable your videos are. I feel like nowadays a lot of YouTubers, TikTokers do production. Like, and that's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. Pero lo que tú tienes is literally you can pop your phone in the middle of nowhere and pop out a couple TikToks and make them fucking funny. ¿Cómo le haces tú? How do you come up with your ideas? Because sometimes, you guys, cuando miro sus videos, I crack up so hard, but then I'm like, me pongo a pensar, amigas, y digo, ¿cómo chingados did he come up with that?
There's a lot going up here, and none of it's like educational. Todo es like puras pendejadas. Like, I feel like that's why I'm so social, because siempre tengo algo que decir, so I love being with people. So sometimes instead of like, I don't post like that much on Instagram, like on my stories, on Snapchat or on Twitter, basically. So everything that people would post like on their spam or story, yo lo subo a mi TikTok, like cualquier pendejada que le digo a mis friends or que like I would tell them if I'm alone, I just do it.
Yeah.
And my friends don't like, because I do just pop out my phone si se me mete una idea, pero my friends don't like it porque sometimes they're in the background or sometimes they're talking, they're like, you really couldn't tell us. And I'm like, se me metió, and they're like, refilm it, pero no, que no estemos aquí. And I'm like, okay, period.
I feel like sometimes the best ideas are like the spontaneous ideas. I feel like a veces cuando planeas algo, amiga, no sale como quieres que salga. So I feel like the way you do it is so natural. Like, I was at a fucking Bad Bunny concert with him, you guys, recently. And I went home that day and I saw that he posted a video like during the freaking concert, the one that was about your purse, que no te roben tus $2 porque mañana quieres pa' tu pan. And it's so crazy because I was like, no me capta en la cabeza sacar mi teléfono y hacer un pinche video así. Yo saco la cámara to vlog, but like the way you kind of do your content is so unique, it's so llamativo, and it's so quick. It's so quick to deliver your joke.
Thank you. And I literally just came up with that porque I was like, voy a poner mis cosas aquí. And this girl was like, oh, don't worry, I'll make sure no one touches them. And I was like, let me record this. And I was like, que nadie me lo vaya a tentar. And I even like pointed it to some girls que están ahí. And I was like that. And they turned around, people were like, the looks they gave you. And I was like, they're cool.
Cuando miro su contenido, you guys, there's been a couple times where like I've reposted it because it's just so freaking funny to me. Because I would kind of say your content is like also hysterical. Like it's very like random. Is that the word, hysterical? What's hysterical? Was that the word? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I just
English
wanted to sound smart.
English wasn't my first language.
I'm going to college.
You're asking the wrong person.
You're like, I'm not a dictionary. No,
ELD
but your content is very like random but funny. Because sometimes it's like, it's not even a joke that you would think is like out there. Like, tú sacas cosas que are not even out there.
Sometimes my friends dicen que the things aren't funny, but
you make, yes. What do you think makes you different from like all the TikTokers and all the comedian creators out there?
I don't know. I just think que muchas cosas, like I always tell people, if you want to ask me something, nomás ask me a question y yo te look, I'll answer it honestly. Like, if you think I don't like you, ask me. Yo te voy a decir if like I don't like you or lo que sea. And I just think I try to be honest.
Yeah.
Porque no me gusta like, especially like when people try to force like una narrative o algo así. So usually like I just try to post something like, girl, we have cucas sometimes. So like I'll post pictures of them. Like one time I posted a video of a cucaracha just like on its back and I was like,
I'm like, I'm chilling with my friend.
Yeah, I'm like me and my bestie aquí haciendo chill.
Period.
So I just try to be genuine, like no vengo de dinero. Like I'm not gonna try to act like it. Like this is what I think is funny. And I feel like that's también como like me so raised mis parents. Porque ellos siempre me dicen que no debes de presumir las cosas. Like you have to be like nice. And obviously like when I go visit my family, like it's hard to forget where you come from. See like miras like cómo está tu familia, and like especially like I don't live luxuriously, aunque crean. Like sometimes I feel like people think like, oh, haces videos, baby. If you only knew, que sometimes yo también hago struggle. Like cuando estaba en el podcast con Irma, I was talking about that one time. Ustedes me miran bien contento, bien like feliz, like on my TikTok. One time I had $3.33 to my name.
Oh shit!
Only thing that I had, porque I hadn't gotten paid yet.
Yeah.
And I was like that for I think like a month, and I had to ask my parents for money, and it was like so embarrassing porque ellos tampoco like no tenían tanto. So I feel like it's just like the universe te ayuda a stay humble, and I feel like that's why I always try to like give and be nice, porque I would want que like si yo estoy en esa position que alguien me ayudara a mí, you know.
And that's something that's really like good that you're touching on, because obviamente te miran online and you're always cracking jokes. You always look so happy. Is it ever hard for you to like put on a face whenever you're going through tough times like that?
Usually, no hago. Well, I do post if I find something funny, even if I'm sad, like I'll be like, oh, that's funny, and I'll laugh.
Yeah.
So like I will post, but usually if I'm having a rough day o me siento mal o lo que sea, yo no subo a TikTok porque I feel like I don't want to push content que no está bien, because I'm like, yeah, I'll probably get like a few views on it, but I'm like,
do you really love the content you're putting out?
Yeah, I'm like, no es algo chistoso. It's not something that I'm like, I would show my friends. So I'm like, I'd rather like not subir it off. So if you ever see que no subo nada, it's probably because like no me siento bien, or I'm just having a rough day, you know.
Una cosa también que mucha gente le encanta de tu contenido. Ahorita ya tienes novio.
Yes.
Okay, pero antes you know, la gente te miraba and you would always make videos con diferentes muchachos. You know, a ti no te da pena. If there's one thing about you, you're gonna throw your shot. How does that come up?
And let me talk about it. Porque people are like, oh, you only say that online, or like because like you can't see me in person. If I say something online, trust and believe, I would say it in person.
Oh shit.
Do you know Sile from the Bad Wiggies?
Yes.
Su papá está bien pinche chulo. Have you seen him?
I have not, but I'm gonna
look him up. Bien pinche chulo. And I was telling her stuff. Y ahí estaba su papá y su mamá. And she was like, bet you wouldn't say that to my mom. And I was like, bet I would. Y que sale su mamá, and I was like, ay, su esposo está bien chulo. I was like, felicidades, usted sí se lo supo. And she was like, tú eres el que haces video, tú hiciste un video con él. And I was like, I'll say it to your face.
Yeah.
Like, if I think he's cute, I'm going to say it to your face. But going back to that, no, yeah. I don't know. Like, I just thought it was so funny, like, to, like, decirles cosas.
Yeah.
And I told my boyfriend now, I'm like, I'm still probably going to do that. Like, no lo he hecho porque, like, I'm like, okay, me necesito que calmar poquito, pero trust and believe, I still have a couple of those videos in my drafts where I'm like, papi chulo, déjate venir. Pero I'm like, no lo voy a subir, it's too much.
Estoy casada.
Me van a decir que estoy alocado y con novio.
Yes. No sé si mucha gente sabe, but you're actually in a long distance relationship. How is that?
It's been so far good. I feel like tenemos una pretty good like relationship when it comes to like staying in contact with each other. Like usually hacemos FaceTime every night y hacemos text throughout the day. So I'm the one que hace lag more. I'll admit that. I'm sorry, Daniel. Pero es que a veces me pongo ocupado con cosas, pero I'll always like FaceTime him at the end of the day, and we always talk about everything.
Yeah. You know what's funny? The day that you actually came to film with Irma, yo me acuerdo que después de que firmaron, you guys estábamos platicando, because he stayed a little bit after, y estuvimos en plática, and you were telling us how sometimes se te olvida hasta mandarle mensaje. And I feel like for me, bitch, like, this is why I could not do long distance relationships. I praise the people that fucking do and make it motherfucking work, because, bitch, si tú me hicieras eso a mi amigo, ya te hubiera volado hasta la chingada, ya. Ya hubiera salido volando tú. You do such a good job with being able to, you know, divide all your time into your social media life, into your school life, into your relationship life. What is one thing you do to try to balance all that together?
I feel like with me, I try to, like, you know how some people try to multitask and try to do a bunch of things at once? I can do that con otras cosas, pero con eso no. So like if I'm with my friends, I'm not going to text anyone back, and I'm going to give them my time. And if I'm doing something, I'm going to like focus my time. So like the time that I text my boyfriend, I'm really active with him for that amount of time. Que estoy ahí until like night comes, hacemos FaceTime. just to show him like that te estoy dando tu tiempo, like, but I also have to like give time to other things, you know? And I also have to give time to myself porque hay tiempos en donde I'm like, no quiero mirar nada, like I don't even want to be on my phone. I just want to be laying in bed con mis ojos cerrados, not even sleeping, pero just like desestresando. So yeah, I just try to divide it, and I obviously like reassure him. I'm like, I always tell him, I'm like, sorry for the lag. This literally every day I tell him like 3 times. I'm like, sorry for the lag. Estaba limpiando y luego fui a la tienda y luego tuve que ir a recoger a esta persona. Then I had to meet up with this one. Then I had to make TikToks. Pero I'm here now. ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Cómo has estado? Like let me Uber Eats you some food. Like I'm sorry, babe. Like lo que sea.
Let me make it up.
No, yeah, literally.
You're like, let me make it up a little bit. How did you guys meet?
Tinder. Sponsor me Tinder.
Yeah. Were you back home? Because I know your boyfriend lives back home, right?
He's fake though, because we had matched one time before, pero no me mandó mensaje. It was right before, I think, Valentine's. Pero I had gone back home, and I was just swiping porque, one thing about me, I love, as you can see from my TikTok, I love men's attention. Entonces yo estaba swipe, y we matched, y luego me mandó un mensaje, and I was like, okay, he's cute. Let's continue texting. Y desde ahí empezamos a hablar, and it moved pretty quickly. Like, I think like 2 weeks after we started talking, I went and I spent the night at his house. Y conocí a su familia.
Oh, damn. You're like, and then at the 3rd week I moved in. The 4th week we got married.
Literally. And then he went to go stay with me at my dorm, like 2 weeks after, con permiso, after that. And así hemos estado.
That is crazy. So, obviamente la relación empezó primerito, you know, both of y'all living in the same town, right? Because, were you already living out here?
I was already living out here.
Oh, shit. Okay, so how did you break it down to him? Like, oh, look, no me vas a poder ver todas las veces que me quieras ver.
I feel like he kind of like, ya lo sabía.
Yeah.
Because like I would tell him, I'm like, I get like busy with things and I would lag on him. Maybe he told me, because sometimes I will admit, yo duro mucho para responder. But it's because I'm giving other people my time. And I feel like if I'm giving them my time, your time is going to come too. Nomás necesitas que darme poquito chance. Porque if I like try to do so much things at once, es como if you're stretching yourself thin. And then eventually I'm going to snap. And I'd rather not be like snapped, you know? Pero basically... What was the point?
I'm like, what was the question?
Literally.
No, how did you break it down to him?
Oh, I feel like he kind of just knew poquito. Sorry, I ramble sometimes. And obviously, like, I would just tell him, I'm like, oh, I lag a lot. And he told me that he thought I was going to, like, end up ghosting him por tanto que duraba. Because sometimes, I think I lagged on him for 12 hours once. I know. No me juzguen, because you guys be doing the same shit as me, so nada de eso. So I would just, like, obviously, like, tell him, like, I'm not going to lag you. I am going to lag on you, but, like, I'm not going to ghost you. And I feel like now he just knows que, like, así soy. Yeah. I don't do it on purpose, nomás que in order to keep myself sane, necesito que hacer esto, you know?
And I feel like, you know what's crazy? Now that I'm really thinking about that, I feel like that's actually a really smart way to divide your time to people, because I feel like yo tengo un problema en donde trato de, like, darle todo a todos al mismo tiempo, that sometimes I'm just like, I can't, like, who do I give my attention to? So I might fucking have to try that. Porque even though I gotta ignore some people while I'm giving someone else their time and attention, but like you said, they gotta wait because their time will motherfucking come.
Even like when I'm with him and if like someone calls me, like one of my friends, I won't answer unless someone texts. I'm like, sorry, talking to Daniel right now. Is it urgent? Or like I'll say something because I'm like, you wouldn't want him to interrupt your time, so I don't want you to interrupt his time tampoco. You know?
Damn. He's like, you wouldn't want that. Una cosita que tú ahorita platicaste very briefly, which I want to touch base on a little bit deeply, is how you were talking about how mucha gente allá en casita puede mirarte y decirte, oh my God, hace un chingo de videos, he gets this many views, you know, he must have this much money. Y obviamente tú acabas de decir, not just here, but in other podcasts, and even in your content, that's not the case. What were some misconceptions when you came into the industry that when you started growing, you're like, fuck, it really wasn't how it seemed?
Well, so obviously, let me mention something real quick. Con TikTok, ya me pagan por video, pero it's a few cents.
Yeah.
So it's like, con lo que agarro throughout the like month, and that depends if I post, and like I said, yo no subo si yo no me siento bien. That pays like maybe my rent, o poquito más. And then if I don't get brand deals or nada así, I don't have like technically, like social media, it's not a stable income si no tienes cosas coming in. So that's like the money part, which I was like, oh, I just thought everyone was rich. Because I had that misconception también. And after that, I'm like,
Yeah, because you see everyone buying houses, you see everyone with luxury cars, and you're like, damn, it's not really like that, because it's not.
Yeah. Like, it's like, puedes tener buen dinero, pero se te puede ir Así de rápido.
Does that ever cause stress on you?
Yeah, pero like I've talked about some. I try not to stress myself, so I'll be like, nada pasa. Like I'm just delusional, and I'll be like, no, like I'm fine. Like nada pasa. Like everything's gonna be okay.
Like his childhood, he's all waiting. They're all like kicking him out, and he's like, no.
No, literally, me on my iPad mini jugando Minecraft.
As you're getting all kicked out of your house, man.
No, tienen internet en la casa de mi tío.
Period.
No, pero another misconception que tenía es que like todos, obviously like I thought maybe no iba a ser así, pero you never know, ¿verdad? Because I feel like cuando miras gente online, you assume que they're the person que están haciendo show, pero a lot of people que miran no son like tan nice como se miran in like person. I feel like with me, I will say this, si me hablas a mí like in person, I'm just as nice to you as I am like online, and I'll say like even like whatever I say online like in person. Like when I've met people like at the concert, they're like, oh, you're exactly like how you are online. And I'm like, because I try to be who I am. Pero some people I've met them like at like events que tiene TikTok or like at parties que tienen otros TikTokers y bien pinches mulos.
But without giving names, what's been like your worst experience with someone that does TikTok, social media, just an influencer in general?
I think that I went up to someone, I smiled because I was like, oh, like I like nos conocíamos because they had liked one of my videos and they had commented, pero no nos seguíamos. And I was like, I just smiled and I went like that. And they went and looked away and I was like, pinche puta. Venido a ver, un día va a ocupar.
Yeah.
And I was like, after that, I was like, if she ever comments on like my TikTok, le voy a borrar el pinche mensaje o le voy a poner little question marks afterwards. Y otras veces, otras cosas también, people will be like so nice on social media. Like they'll be like, oh, bien contentos, bien llenos de energía, which I get like, a lo mejor you have to show your best self. Yeah. But like in person, the most boring, y no quiero ser mean, ¿verdad?
He's like, Alan,
the most boring, plano, like, cosa que you've ever seen. Like, no tiene nada de like,
de chiste.
Yeah. Like, they're just like, ahí, and they're just like judging. Like, nomás están ahí parados así. And like, no te saludan until their little friends show up, que te conocen. And once they see that they're being nice to you, they'll be like, oh, hi. Or they won't care. Like, if they've like, porque you know how like, I different sides of TikTok. Like, there's some que es like more like, they're on the white side. Y otros que están most like on Latino side. Or like, there's different sides. If they don't see me because they're like more on like a different side of TikTok or like a dancing side of TikTok, you know, I go dancing videos, they don't treat me like they'll basically treat me like si yo no soy nadie. And then when their friends tell them, oh, that's Comadre, like he has like 1 point something million on TikTok, they'll be like, oh my God, what's your TikTok? You should follow me. Yo, no me sigas, pinche puto. Like, yo no quiero que me sigas. Like, you were just being mean to me.
Yeah.
And like, I take notice with that too, porque cuando yo voy a lugares, I always take one of my friends, Victoria, with me. When I notice someone's not being nice to her, porque like I've had people like ignore her. Yeah. Porque like she doesn't do social media. After that, I'm like, I don't like that person because I'm like, if you can't respect this person, mi amiga, nomás porque she doesn't want to do social media, no eres una buena persona.
Exactly. And I feel like that just comes to show like people how they are, you know, because I've had that happen so many times with Irma. Like whenever I bring Irma along, obviously now I feel like a lot of people love and know Irma. But antes, before when she wasn't doing social media, I would have situations donde me saludaban a mí y a ella como si no estaba ahí. Como una pinche pared pintada. And it's like, bro, that just goes to show que a veces a mucha gente nomás le importa platicar con la persona que les beneficia. A.K.A. the one that has the followers y le vale verga al amigo, al friend. And it's like, for you, someone that you love and care for, your friend, if they're treating them bad, it's almost like as if they're treating you bad.
Y más adrede cuando miro que no son, I'm like, this is my friend Victoria, y la hago bring up, and I'm like, oh yeah, come on.
You're like, dile hola.
No, y like I said, nomás no me gusta, like, when I see these people on TikTok que son como bien hyped y que, oh my God, like, soy bien alegre, like, en las fiestas, and I see them, like, at a party or something, bien mulos in the corner, like, así, nomás. I'm like, y bien contento que te vieran aquí, atrás de las puertas. I'm like, sometimes I even, like, tell my roommates, I'm like, one day que me agarren de malas y bien borracho, voy a soltar toda la sopa de todo lo que ha visto.
Voy a soltar todo el pinche chisme,
And I'm like, like I've even thought about this. I'm like, sometimes, pero I'm like, no, because then I'm going to answer honestly, and then a mí me van a querer regañar. Like, I've been like, I should make a TikTok where I'm like, at people down below and I'll make videos telling you what I think
about
them.
Oh, bitch.
And because you know that TikTok where it's like that trend where it's like people grab their phone and they'll be like, oh, a person I hate, and they'll go like that. I was thinking of doing that, but I was thinking of just being like a person que es creída, and then just like flipping and just holding on screen and just be like, a person gets a bitch. Like,
you should fucking do it. I'm like encouraging it.
I know,
wanting drama.
But I'm like, no crean todo lo que miren.
Yeah.
And if you guys get like a little like, oh, why doesn't no one like this person, or why does this person always complaining que no tienen friends o algo así? No quiero decir que like if you don't have friends que like no eres likable, pero if you have like so many people who like you and you don't have any in real life person friends, maybe it's not LA or que like everyone in LA is fake. Genuine people just don't like you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's porque no eres humilde o algo, pero
there's a problem with it.
Yeah. Ese problema es contigo, no con las demás, you know?
And I feel like that's very important too, like in the real world. I feel like for me, una cosa que yo, bringing it back to me, but one thing about me that I like is like a lot of my really close friends are not on social media. And I feel like that's what for me matters more, because it's like, I'd rather have genuine friendships. I think like social media wise, I have friends only that I can count en mi mano. That I consider like my actual friends. Los demás los miro como
acquaintances como friends
and co-workers.
Yeah.
Because estamos en la misma industria, trabajamos juntos, nos conocemos y ahí. But for me, it's very important to have people that I actually like fuck with and have been friends for so long, because esas son las gentes que cuando estás en tu nube, te bajan.
No, yeah.
And you know they're not there just because, they're going to gain something from you.
No, yeah. Like with me, like even like I also feel like I have like very few like actually like close social media friends. Like probably I can count them like con esas manitas. Mis manos bien grandes.
Like manotas.
Pero even when I do hang out with them, like I've hang out like Lex, I hang out with her like pretty frequently. I don't post with her often. And the reason I don't post with her, when we hang out, it's genuine. Like I'm not like on my phone like, vamos a hacer un TikTok, vamos a hacer esto. I'm enjoying my time with her. And even with my close friends que no hacen social media, like I don't post TikToks with them, not because I don't want them to, porque like clout lo que sea. Nah, I just don't do it because I'm like, I'm enjoying my time with them. I'm not on my phone. Like I'd rather have a conversation con ellos than like to be like, oh, like, let's do this one, let's practice esto, let's do that. I'd rather enjoy it, you know? Yeah, and if we do make a TikTok o algo, it's not because like, oh, like we need to make content. It's just porque nos estamos divirtiendo and we're just like, oh my God, like, have you heard that TikTok song? Like, let's do it. And then if we like it, we can post it. Like, it's like that. And it's never like, oh, like, I'm going to post one on your TikTok and you post one on mine. Like, it's just like being like genuine and being like fun, you know?
How do you deal with people que te tratan y te hacen sentir menos de lo que eres?
Yo soy una persona, like, aunque me miran muy contento, I hold grudges. Like, me puedes hacer algo, like, if I say no, like, no onion on my taco y tú me echas onion,
I'll be pissed.
I'm like, cuando me dice que echar un trueno, te lo voy a echar a ti. Like, I'm very, like, I know it's not, I'm not, like, why am I getting mad? No, yo soy una persona de mucho coraje, me viene de mi papá. I remember that. Like, nunca se me olvida, and I'm gonna get like my bite back. Like, te voy a morder. So I'll usually just be like, un día van a ocupar y yo voy a estar aquí, les voy a dar algo. So I'll just like, I'm like, no les voy a hacer nada, but I'm like, voy a esperar.
Dios y yo vamos a hacerte algo.
Literally.
You're like, not karma. I'll help karma.
No, I'm like, que chingue su madre karma. My car is gonna hit you.
But how do you deal with like, you know, in the moments? Like, ¿cómo te haces sentir tú? Or how do you kind of, you know, tell yourself like, oh, it doesn't matter how people treat me. Like, I know who I am.
I know it's gonna sound cocky, but I'm just like, it's crazy how like I'm actually better than them. Like I just tell myself, I'm like, ellos bien créditos, bien eso, but I'm like, su personalidad bien fea y nadie nos quiere. And I'm like, y yo sí tengo friends que no están on social media que sí me quieren y que like I know they would do things for me if I needed to. People only do things for that person porque ocupan de esa persona.
O porque quieren algo de esa persona. Ya para terminar la plática, you guys, what's one thing que si tú pudieras go back in time, what would you tell little Jesus?
I probably would be like,
get off your games.
No, I stay on them. They were hella fun. Even though I always have been platicador, I do bite my tongue with a lot of things because I'm like, oh, no puedo decir eso. Don't bite your tongue. Like, it's so much more funny and people like you so much more cuando sueltas todo lo que tengas que decir. Like, just be happy and just say lo que se te viene a la mente because that's honestly what's gotten me, like, this far.
No, and honestly, it 100% is because I feel like tú dices los chistes y tú platicas lo que mucha gente tiene miedo de decir.
People tell me que I'm the intrusive thought que se les mete a la cabeza, pero que they're like, no, I shouldn't say that. Like, that's crazy. And I'm like, and lo que digo on TikTok, I could say worse, no más que that, like, I'm like, no, like, that's too much.
How do you deal when la gente te dice, oh my God, comadre, that is so fucked up, ese chiste no va aquí? Like, because I feel like you have pretty dark humor.
Sometimes.
And that's one thing we were talking about cuando he filmed with Irma and Danny was your dark humor. Where do you draw the line of what's too dark to post and, oh, I can get away with this?
Mm-hmm. I really don't have that line. I just kind of post it and I hope for the best. But I feel like my humor, even though it is dark, it's never like super problematic. It's more of like, that's dark, but I kind of get where you're coming from. You know what I mean? Pero yeah, usually it's just like lo que se me viene a la mente. Like even if it's not the nicest, I'm like, I meant it.
My man.
I'm like, I meant it.
And you know, it's funny, like you said, his type of humor is very much how you described it. Very much like dark, but me too. Like, I agree. Like, 1,100%, I agree with what you said.
I've always been like that. Yeah. Even since I was little, when I didn't like someone, I'd be like, ojalá que ya lo recoja Dios. Like, I would literally say that, and my parents would be like, eso no es chistoso. And I'm like, ay.
Well, neither are them.
Literally. Like, my parents hated, like, they didn't hate taking me to church because they're like, tú necesitas que ir a la iglesia, necesitas Dios. Pero, because I would always say shit about the padres. Like, I'd be like, ay, me cae bien gordo el padre. I'd be like, se cree bien harto, se cree más de nosotros. And he'd be like, eso no se dice. And I'm like, ay, sí.
Yo voy a decir lo que yo quiera.
Like, And they'd be like, eso no está bien. I'm like, ay, yo sí lo voy a decir.
Yo quiero saber, what is next for you? ¿Qué planes tienes? ¿En dónde te podemos ver in a couple months, a year from now? What are the plans you have next in store for yourself?
La Rosa de Guadalupe. Just kidding.
Yeah. I was about to be
honestly, no estoy seguro. I'm kind of more of like, en donde me lleve la vida, you know. Lo que
me
venga,
lleve el viento.
No, literally, lo que venga, que se me deje venir. Pero yeah, I'm just hoping for the best and trying to stay like happy, positive throughout it, you know?
All right, you guys. So thank you so much por estar aquí con nosotros, you guys. Y muchas gracias a todos ustedes por escuchar y por vernos. If you guys want to go ahead and follow him on all his social medias, I will leave them linked down below. Y también van a aparecer aquí on the screen. Also, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias so you guys won't miss any future episodes. And with that being said, you guys, thank you so much.
Gracias a ti.
And thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Adiós.
Bye, guys.